What's going on, guys? Will Blendon, nice guy driver. My phone camera just starts, it automatically just goes on now. Like, it's crazy. I got a new Samsung, what is it? Samsung 25 Ultra, like the top of the line Samsung, pretty much. And literally, I could just face the camera my way and just say something, and it'll just start filming. Like, it's crazy. But today I want to talk about, is Uber, DoorDash, Lyft, are they listening? Are they listening in to your conversations? And where I got the idea for this video is Pedro, Mr. Bet on You, Santiago, and he was talking about the same thing. And honestly, they have the capability. And sometimes when I'm doing a Uber ride, certain rides on Uber, they'll tell you, the passenger has the ability to record this interaction. But whether or not they randomly do it, I don't know. It's a possibility. They have the capability. The camera's already facing you. You initiated the app, and you gave the app permission to use your audio and video. So technically, particularly Uber and DoorDash, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm as worried about Lyft on this one, but because they're the two mega giants right now, I'm willing to bet that in certain situations, they will tap in just to see what's going on. They already know all the time where you are. So they're already tracking your navigation. But whether or not they initiate the audio and the video, it's questionable. I don't think they do it all the time. But in certain situations, best believe they tap in and see what's going on. Now, the reason why I don't think they do it all the time to every driver, that would be overkill. And I know for a fact, I'm always talking junk about these apps. So if they were basing deactivations on that, I would already be deactivated for saying some of the stuff I say. But in certain situations, especially if the passenger initiates it, I believe some drivers are getting randomly deactivated because they hear a certain conversation because the passenger initiated record. I think it's very, very true that some passengers, will initiate the record on purpose because they feel uneasy, or worried about, the driver. And this is why some drivers might randomly get deactivated. But do I think they just going about randomly, like, listening on everybody? I don't think so. Because like I said, I be literally saying stuff with my app on that could get me deactivated to passengers. I will randomly tell passengers, like just the other day, I was telling a passenger that I don't like Uber lately because I feel like Lyft is paying me more. For one, I think it's because of the area filter that I'm getting rides that I actually want, like local rides, quick, fast, easy, and Uber doesn't give us that ability. I get less until you get a certain level or a certain tier. I think they have the power to let us have that, but I think you're not even able to get an area filter on Uber unless you're at a certain level or certain tier, and I really think some drivers are getting deactivated based on what they're hearing, but I really think it's because the passenger initiated it. I don't think they're randomly just listening in on every driver. Just think about it, there's millions and millions of drivers. I think that would be a little bit overkill, and it would take a lot of manpower or machine power to just randomly start listening in and videotaping every driver. But they have the capability. And I don't know if you guys have experienced this. I did experience this once, where I turned off my Uber app. This didn't happen with Lyft, but it happened with Uber. Where I turned off my Uber app, but it still looked like it was active. It still looked like it was on. And then I had to go back and shut it back on and back off again, and then it went completely off. So sometimes I think even when you initiate the Uber app to go off, I think it's still on. And I think Uber does that because when you're on a ride with Lyft, they still want to know where you're at. I don't think it happened with Lyft ever, but hit me in the comments if this ever happened where you switched it off. You thought you switched it off, but you went and looked, and the button looks like it's off, but you could still see that little symbol in the corner like the app is on. So when I actually looked at the app looked like it's off, but in the corner of the screen, it looks like I see the little logo like it's still on. And then I go back and shut it off, shut it off again, and then that logo disappears. And it's usually when I'm on a Lyft ride, I still see that. I think Uber is still trying to track us when we're initiating these Lyft rides. For whatever reason, I think they still want to have the ability to see what area we're going to when we're driving on a competitor app. Because a lot of people think Uber and Lyft are best friends, or it's not the case. It's like Burger King and McDonald's. They work together when it saves them from lawsuits, but they're not buddies like that. A lot of passengers even think they were owned by the same company. But these are the same people that think McDonald's and Burger King are owned by the same people. And that's not the case. But the rumor is, I don't know if this is any truth to this, but DoorDash is trying to work with Lyft. And if that happens, that's going to give Lyft a lot more power to be a bigger company. I don't know how that's going to work in their partnership, but I think Lyft is doing it because they don't do deliveries. And DoorDash, it makes sense for even DoorDash because working with Lyft, they take more power from Uber. You know, because right now, if I'm not mistaken, DoorDash is the biggest delivery company and probably in the world. And Uber is the biggest rideshare company. Their Uber Eats can't compete with DoorDash. So I think that's why DoorDash wants to work with Lyft. But hit me in the comments if you think that they're deactivating drivers based on whether or not they're listening in on our conversations or even using our camera, which is worse. They have the capability. The technology is out there. So it's quite possible that it is happening. I don't think they're going out of their way to randomly check every driver, but like I said, I would have been deactivated like years ago, you know, because I'm not afraid to talk junk about Uber, Lyft, or DoorDash, you know. And I don't even drive for DoorDash, but I know they're scammers, you know. It's obvious with other videos I watch, other drivers I talk to, and they're just as bad as Uber, if not worse. But I want to thank you guys for your time, your continued support. Subscribe, like, comment, click that bell icon, give me that thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.